But this next one, I'm very curious to get your thoughts on, and I've seen some different stuff on social media over the past couple days because, yeah, I mean, the Oscars this year, I've heard through the grapevine that ABC is kind of worried. I mean, award shows already have very bad viewership. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have a Barbie, you don't have Oppenheimer, you don't have something that's like global tentpole type film that has really been presented to us yet that is considered Oscar worthy. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. So I'm curious to see your thoughts and opinions on this. I wanted to go through our 2024 films that have been released so far
Oh my gosh.
that could potentially be Oscar contenders. And I'm in April right now, and I can send you this list real quick.
Oh, I've got a
But
list. I've got a list. Yeah, I have a list of all.
I'm in April, and
Okay.
I've only seen two so far, and that is Civil War. I think
Yeah,
Civil War should
Civil
definitely
War.
be nominated. I think they should definitely re-release because if you guys don't know, for Oscars, if they release in the fall time, that's really the Oscar window, so that voters can have it fresh in their minds before they vote. And
Yes.
honestly, challengers. I think challengers
Challengers should be
at
in the
least for
conversation.
cinematography, and Zendaya. Zendaya freaking killed it.
Oh,
in
without
that
doubt.
film. But while I continue to go through, you can go ahead and list some of yours that you
Okay,
think would be
so
good.
this is the complete list of every movie that is eligible to be nominated. And not all of these have been released yet, though. Some of them have, some of them haven't. It's Alien Romulus, All We Imagine Is Light, Anora, The Apprentice, Baby Girl, Back to Black, Beetlejuice, Better Man, Between the Temples, The Bike Riders, Bird, Blink Twice, Blitz, Bob Marley, One Love, The Book of Clarence, The Brutalist, Carville, Challengers, Civil War, The Colors Within, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, The Count of Monte Cristo, Daddy-O, Daughters, Day of the Fight, Deadpool and Wolverine, The Deliverance, Despicable Me 4, A Different Man, Dee Dee, Drive Away Dolls, Dune Part 2, Elton John, Never Too Late, Amelia Perez, The End, Evil Does Not Exist, Exhibiting Forgiveness, Fancy Dance, The Fire Inside, Firebrand, Flow, Frida, The Front Room, Furosha, Gladiator 2, Hard Truths, Here, Heretic, His Three Daughters, Hitman, Horizon and American Saga, I Am Celine Dion, I Saw the TV Glow, I'm Still Here, The Idea of You, If, The Imaginary, In the Summers, Inside Out 2, It Ends With Us, Janet Planet, Joker Folie à Deux, Kind of Kindness, Kingdom of Planet of the Apes, Kneecap, The Last Showgirl, Longlegs, Friskus, Love Lies Bleeding, Maria, Megapolis, Memoir of a Snail, Moana 2, Monkey Man, The Most Precious Cargoes, Mothers, Mufasa, The Lion King, My Old Ass, Nickel Boys, Night Bitch, Nuferato, Oh Canada, The Piano Lesson, Parent Nope, The Outrun, Place by Place. Now, I could go on and on, guys. There's about another 25.
How long are we going to go?
Wicked, We Grow Now, Wallace and Gromit, Venom, Young Woman in the Sea. My point is that I was trying to get those in is because, like you said, how many of those have you actually seen? Right? All of these movies are eligible, but how many have people actually seen on that list? I mean, that's like...
Well, I mean, that has nothing to do with it.
No,
because
totally.
A lot of people a lot of films that get nominated, I mean, people have never
don't
seen.
see.
But
Exactly.
I'm just trying to talk about the films that we have seen that we think should get nominated.
I think there's a couple on there. I think that The Bike Riders, probably somebody out of there, acting-wise, I think. Maybe not Best Picture, but maybe acting-wise. I'm going to say right now, I loved Back to Black, the Amy Winehouse, but that was phenomenal. I think that should definitely get some. I agree with you with both Civil War and Challengers. I think, no doubt. The Complete Unknown, I haven't seen it yet, but that's a given. That's the one with Timothée Chalamet about Bob Dylan. I can't imagine that that's not going to get a nomination.
I'm gonna lie, I think Megalopolis will get nominations just because it's weird, it's out there, it's very film friendly for that group.
Yeah.
So I do think that's going to get nominated as well.
I would agree with that. I think that's probably good. And because, juror number 2, this is it or is it not? But it is supposedly Clint Eastwood's swan song, his goodbye. Do you nominate the guy for Best Picture or Best Director because it's his way out? I mean, the guy is nearly 100 years old and it's his swan song out. I feel like that's going to probably get a nomination. And I'm just going to...
I feel like you have to.
Yeah. Young Woman and the Sea, if you guys didn't see it, that's the one with Daisy Ridley with the true life story of the first woman across the channel. Brilliant movie. Keep in mind, guys, a lot of these, like Hitman, a lot of them only played in theaters to get the qualifications to get nominated for an Oscar, and then they were on streamers. So that's why you probably maybe didn't see them. And I'm just going to say this. You and I saw it, and I cried my eyes out, and I think it's a shoo-in for feature-length documentary, but I also think it deserves a nod for Best Picture. And I'm talking about Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. It's brilliantly done. The way it was directed, the cinematography, the visual effects, just everything about it was spot on. I think it's a shoo-in for a nomination for feature-length documentary, and I think it's probably going to win. But I think you give it a nod for Best Picture too.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty good. Yeah, I cried 3 times, and I know you cried an uncountable amount of times. But yeah, it's really freaking good. Another one on this list, too, that I think Nicolas Cage should get nominated for, and I'm not a Nicolas Cage fan, but Longlegs.
Oh, yeah,
The more I sat with Longlegs, the more I liked it. It's one of those that you do walk out, and you're like, okay, what is happening? But filmmaking wise, it really is like a pure piece of art.
Without doubt.
Like you do walk out kind of confused, and it's a conversation starter. So you talk about all these things, but yeah, the more it sat with me, I enjoyed it. And Nicolas Cage is creepy as shit in that film.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think it's going to be a down year for the Oscars, man. I don't think that there's not that one big blockbuster film that will draw people. I mean, maybe if you try with Alien Romulus, because that one's pretty good, and I mean, a good amount of people saw it, especially overseas. But right now, I just don't think that from the films that we have seen so far, we're gonna see a huge drop off in viewership as far as ABC. I do think Saturday night. They changed I do think Saturday night's gonna get nominated. It would be awesome if The Apprentice got nominated as well, because that looks amazing.
Yeah.
But just looking forward, right now I think ABC is worried about viewership. Well, I've heard they're running around trying to figure out how to make it great, and they still don't have a host.
No, and the rumors are that they're trying to lock down Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. That's how desperate they are for ratings. That would make sense that they're trying to get that duo to host it, because that chemistry and them together. But I mean, that shows you how much they're worried about ratings. I just looked up, and so if you want, we can close it out with. But here's the odds right now, the Vegas odds, the ones. This is what they think the current predicted nominees for Best Picture: Amelia Perez from Netflix, The Brutalist from A24, Gladiator 2 from Paramount, Anora from Neon, Conclave from Focus, Blitz, which is an Apple film, The Room Next Door, Sony, A Complete Unknown, Searchlight, Saturday Night, and Dune Part 2. Those seem to be the 10 odds-on favorites to get the nod for Best Picture nominations based on out of Vegas right now. And then the ones right in the wings, like right possibly maybe to squeak in there and bump one of those. The Seed of the Sacred Fig, I'm Still Here, Sing Sing, The Wild Robot, Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2 seems like a given. That's going to win for Best Animated Picture, I think. September 5th, Wicked, The Piano Lesson, and The Apprentice. So we'll see. I mean, right? It's going to be a very interesting. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I think that at least out of the ones we've seen, I don't know, man. I don't know. But
yeah, it's pretty rough. I mean, I just like I said, I don't think it's going to be a good year for viewership. I really think that they're going to have to pull one out of their ass for this. Yeah, and I forgot about Wicked. Wicked's still coming out
Yep.
too. And then we also have Moana 2 as well. So Disney versus Disney, because yeah, it's either going to Moana 2
Oh
or
yeah.
Inside Out 2.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting. But I heard this through the grapevine that about ABC, and I just thought it was interesting because yeah, ever since Jimmy Kimmel said he wasn't doing it again this year, and with there not being huge blockbuster films that are critically acclaimed, I was just like, man, I don't. It's a great point. It's a great point. I think it's going to be a lackluster year.
And which the pressure's on, because if you remember, and we talked about this a few weeks ago on the show, for the first time in many, many years, the Emmys, the primetime Emmys, saw a bump in the ratings. They, for the first time in a very long time, went up in the ratings by a significant jump. But I think that's because, unlike the film side, TV side was just blowing up. I mean, with Shogun and The Bear and like all these huge, TV's been killing it lately. There's been some really great stuff. So the pressure is now on with the Oscars going, oh shit, the Emmys went up. What do we do? How do we match that? So